Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide on Cinque's character event, Sincere Strenght EX and its Cosmos fight. Now first of all, before we start this video, I do want to apologize that this video is late. 2 days late, in fact, at least by Australian time. Now I usually release these video guides as soon as they are ready, and I try to release them on the day that the event comes out. However, I do have work. I've been working, as well as I have raids with Final Fantasy XIV at least 3 times a week, and this just fell into that hole where I didn't really have the time to edit. But in any case, the video is here. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let's start this video. Now, as always, we'll start off with the weaknesses, resistances, and the abilities of the last boss. In this case, it is the Bastion Giant. Now, it does have one weakness, which is ice, and it doesn't have any resistances. As for its abilities, it has Punch, which is a melee brave attack, Wallop, which it recovers itself from its break and will do a melee HP attack, Fragment, which is a group melee brave attack, Magic Bullet, which is a magic brave attack, which also inflicts an initial brave down and an attack down. Next, it has Gigant Punch, which is a melee brave attack, raises turn rate when it's inflicting break or attacking a target already afflicted with break. Next, it has Particle Distribution, which is a group magic brave attack. It increases its brave, and it also inflicts a defense down. Next up, it has the Acoustic Pressure Wave, which increases its brave when its brave is less than its initial brave. It will do a group magic HP attack. Next is Drumming War, which is a group melee brave attack, which also inflicts a speed down, and this also has a high turn rate. Next is Ascension Strike, which is a melee brave attack, which also increases its brave and grants itself an attack up and a speed up to itself. Now, depending on the percentage of the boss's HP, it will have a few attacks which it will increase its stats. The first one is the Movement Becomes Lighter, which raises its attack, initial brave, and max brave. Next, it has Movement Becomes Even Lighter, which again raises his attack and speed further. And let's not forget, it does have a high resistance to the Paralyzed debuff. Okay, so now that we know the weaknesses, the resistances, and the abilities of the Bastion Giant, it's time to take a look at some general tips and guide. And the first one, as always, is to save about 60 to 70% of your abilities for the last boss. Now, this generally really applies to the Cosmos fight right now. However, if you are a new player and it's your first time trying to clear an EX fight, this will also apply to you. The next one is to bring in the boosted characters such as Cinque, Snow, Kate Sith, and of course we've got Noctis as well. As for other characters that you may want to consider if you don't have any of these boosted characters are the Warrior of Light, Cloud, Furion, Paladin Cecil, Zack, Agrius, Bart, Onion Knight, Sephiroth, Freya, Vayne, Laguna, Squall, Lightning, Fran, Jet, Zidane, or even Pain. Now obviously there are like 102 characters available right now in Opera Omnia, and I cannot list them all, so if I do miss some, I do apologize. Now as for the healer plus brave battery options, this doesn't really change much, so I still have Rem, Selfie, Maria, Eiko, Lena, and again Kate Sith gets a second mention here. He is a boosted character, and you know, he's a pretty decent healer plus brave battery as well. Now as for the summon, we do only have two choices, which is between Ifrit or Shiva, and for this one I would actually recommend Shiva more than Ifrit, but Ifrit can still be useful. But I feel like Shiva actually takes advantage of the boss's weakness, plus it gives you that extra speed, which actually is really great for this boss. Alright, so now that's out of the way, let's have a look at some tips for the fight itself. Now the first one is to bring a Quistis friend. Well, at least for your friend's support, because Quistis is really great, and it really ties into my second tip, which is delay, delay, and delay. Now the boss is actually quite slow at the start of the fight, so try to take advantage of this and delay it as much as you can, because later on it will have a higher speed. It can inflict a lot of debuffs on your party, like initial brave down, attack down, and even speed down as well, while it itself is getting faster and faster later down the track, especially once the text says, you know, movement becomes even lighter, which it increases its speed even further. Which kind of brings me to my next tip, that the boss will attack 3 times per turn. This means once it goes in its turn, in the turn order, it will attack 3 times. That's the worst it can get. I haven't actually tested if the first text, the movement becomes lighter, it will attack twice instead of once. I haven't really tried that because I just really delayed it as much as I can, and even on my blind attempt it didn't get a chance to attack until the text said movement becomes even lighter, which is the sign that it will, I do believe it will attack 3 times. And that is from what I can tell. So if I'm wrong, please leave down in the comments below and let me know if I am wrong on that one. But again, I never experienced it attacking me before it actually said that second text. Now my final tip for you guys here is to bring a debuffer. This is to reduce the incoming damage from those 3 times attack per turn. Basically, it will try to break you as much as it can. It will use 2 brave type attacks and finally finish it off with a wallop. Now I can't really tell whether it will use 2 types of HP attack in all those 3 turns because I never experienced it. Even when I reran this fight with a different team, it never got to the point where it will use 2 HP attacks on me. So if it does do that, please leave down in the comments below and let the community know that it can happen. Anyway, that's all for the general tips, and guys, it's now time to take a look at some possible party compositions. And the first one is obviously going to be the boosted characters, in which combination that you want, which is Cinque, Snow, Kate Sith, and Noctis. This is with a Quistis support and of course a Shiva summon to take advantage of that weakness. Now in all honesty, Snow is probably the weakest link out of these 4 characters. So if you have all of these characters, probably Snow is the one to kick out. However, if you feel like you're safer with a tank, then you can definitely bring Snow as well. The next team I have for you guys is the one that you're seeing here right now, which is Noctis Pain and Sarah with a Quistis support and Shiva for the summon. Now Noctis is obviously the strongest DPS and I think the most cheesiest DPS right now, and I think he just stomped Vayne out of the way Even though Vayne is still quite useful, especially with his turn shenanigans, Noctis just has the pure damage over Vayne. And of course with Sarah you have a good Brave Battery, plus you can also apply a couple of debuffs like the Sap and of course the Poison to make sure that the boss doesn't really, get up there in terms of its Brave. Now the third team that I have here is Zac, Vayne, Lightning with a Quistis support and of course a Shiva summon again. Now this team is more like the delay tactic. You do have Lightning and you do have to have her EX in order for her to delay, and you have Vayne here as well. Now in all honesty, Zac is kind of replaceable with Warrior of Light. I just wanted to play as Zac because I've been using Warrior of Light for most of my fights and I just wanted to change it up. But Zac is definitely replaceable. You can change him to maybe your own Quistis to make the delay even further, but that's really up to you. I felt like just having a tank would, probably make it a lot safer, and I must say when I was rerunning the fight, he did take a couple of HP attacks, which was pretty close. He got to red health, so I mean, Zac saved the day there for me, I think. Now the last one I have here is going to be Warrior of Light, and then just add 2 DPS or 2 characters, whichever you want. Of course they have to be strong, but still, a Warrior of Light just makes this fight much easier. You may have to take a couple of HP attacks, however, Warrior of Light can heal as well. But if you really want to be safe, you can bring Warrior of Light plus a healer plus a DPS and you should be fine. You just have to be careful not to use all your abilities on the earlier stages and you should be fine. And again, Quistis support and Shiva for your summon. Alright, so we're coming to the end of this video, and as always I would like to give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Now in all honesty, this fight shouldn't be any problem. Even at the Cosmos stage, especially if you have Noctis, and especially if you have like 100 Quistis friend support. Honestly, once you delay this boss as much as you can, you should be able to bring it down to a relatively low amount of HP already. It may get an attack once or twice, but if you are prepared to take in those attacks, then you should be able to survive those attacks. Now you do have to remember that later down the track it will attack 3 times, and if it manages to break you in even one of those attacks, at least the first 2, then it's pretty relatively easy to predict that you are going to die. So my top suggestion is just to keep an eye out who it's targeting, especially if you're not bringing a tank. Now as you guys can see here, my Sarah nearly died here, taking about 7k damage. Now I didn't actually bring in a healer with this composition as well, so it was a risk that I was willing to take. I wanted to be a more aggressive play in this case because it is only one boss. So if you can delay it as much as you can, it is possible to just power yourself through this fight. Now in saying that, one mistake can really turn the tables against you. However, I feel that if you are careful, this fight shouldn't be any problem at all. Now I did mention Warrior of Light makes this a little bit easier as well, so if you have a combination of the Warrior of Light and you have Noctis as well, then this shouldn't be a problem. And I would really put this a little bit below than our past Cosmos fight where we had to fight like 2 bosses at the same time. Even though it attacks 3 times, it is possible to delay it, that you probably won't have to worry about those 3 attacks. Anyway guys, I think that's it for this video. Remember to click like and subscribe if you like what you see here and if you find this video helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys. Which team did you use to actually beat the Bastion Giant? Leave down in the comments below. Let me know. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.